Former Finance Minister Yashwant Sinha has been one of the most vocal critics of the Narendra Modi government. And in his new book, India Unmade, he has taken on the economic policies of the NDA government and how the Modi government broke the economy. That's what the book is all about. And Mr. Yashwant Sinha joins us for a conversation. Mr. Sinha, thanks very much for speaking to CNBC TV 18.
Welcome, Parikshit.
I'd like to begin with demonetization. In your book, you've said demonetization was the biggest banking scam. Why do you say that?
You know, if you look at the context in which demonetization was done, you will recall that first we came out with the famous Jan Dhan Yojana, and crores of accounts were created under Jan Dhan Yojana under the pretext of empowering the poorest of the poor by opening their bank accounts. This was in place, and then suddenly demonetization came. And what exactly, how has 99.3% of the currency come back when the Nepal and Bhutan currency has not yet been accounted for? The district branches of Central Cooperative Bank money they received has not been accounted for. If that is accounted for, I have no doubt in my mind that it will be 100% or even more. But the fact remains that the entire currency came back. And how did it come back? Largely through Jan Dhan accounts. So the infrastructure for cheating had been created in advance. And people just used a Jan Dhan account to deposit the money and then quickly withdraw the money.
Right.
Remember what the Prime Minister said? He said, if you have been asked to deposit other people's money, don't return it. Why did he have to say it?
One of the rationales given by the Narendra Modi government was that this was done to boost digital transactions. And in your book, sir, you've also spoken about how it benefited certain BJP leaders.
Isn't that quite obvious? I mentioned to you the Central Cooperative Bank branches in the district. Now, media reports would suggest that 745 crore, that was the amount which was deposited within 5 days in the district branch of the Ahmedabad of the Central Cooperative Bank, in which it is claimed that the party president, BJP party president, is one of the directors. 745 crore. And on the 6th day, the RBI came out with an order saying no more. The Central Cooperative Bank will not receive any more money, not change any more money. So they achieved their purpose 5 days. Is any inquiry going on in this? Isn't it a subject which should be inquired into and the people of this country told transparently what exactly happened? Why is everyone, including the media, nobody is raising this issue?
Aren't you also surprised that the Parliamentary Committee on Finance, which is headed by Veerappa Moily, is yet to submit its report on demonetization?
Yeah, because it is being blocked by the BJP members of that committee. I headed that committee, and I remember we examined some of the most contentious and difficult issues, and we submitted all our reports on the basis of unanimity. There was no problem. But here, why is there a problem? Because these BJP MPs, not only in that committee but other committees, are behaving exactly in the same manner in which the Congress MPs used to behave in the earlier government.
So before we move on to the next excerpt, would you say that this will be a big issue in 2019? This was an issue in this election and it will be an issue in 2019?
Yeah, because those people who suffered, they suffered in silence in the hope that the rich are suffering more or are going to suffer more. Now they are convinced that the rich did not suffer at all. So they feel cheated. And therefore it is going to be a major issue in the next election. There is no doubt about it.
Let's talk about jobs. You focused on jobs as well in your book. The government, the Prime Minister in an interview has said that 70 lakh jobs were created in the formal sector last year. Also in April he said that, and he quoted EPFO data and said 22 lakh new jobs have been created. So you've got this data versus what you're saying in your book. You dispute that number. Why is that?
I actually do. And the reason for that is everyone agrees, except the Sarkari economists, that EPFO data cannot be taken as job data. That is, the reason is very simple. I have explained it in my book, that any establishment which has 20 persons or more under its employment has to register with EPFO. Now, suppose I have 18 and I employ 2 more and the number goes up to 20, so I'll have to register. Under EPFO data, all the 20 will be taken as new jobs. Whereas I have created only 2 new jobs. So that is why EPFO data is not considered to be credible data for job creation. That is one. The second is, that famous speech of the Prime Minister in Parliament in response to the no confidence motion was neither here nor there. I mean, I don't know who gave him all those figures. That so many people passed out passed their law exam and they would have become lawyers. Yeah, they would have become lawyers, but would be looking for a job for themselves. Instead of being in a position to employ other people, chartered accountants. Like that, so many cars replaced, so many trucks replaced. That's absolutely fantastic data that he came out with, and I'm sorry that he was not challenged in Parliament on that data.
I'd just like to bring in an excerpt from your book, because the government says that the discrepancies that we see often when it comes to data on job creation is because we're yet to come up with the right mechanisms to calculate data. And in your book, you've said, faced with poor job growth figures, the Modi government has killed the messenger and decided to abandon the quarterly employment survey of the Labour Bureau. You've also said funding for Manrega has been increased to a historic high, even though Modi government ridiculed the program as a testament to the Congress's economic failures.
When I'm spot on, because one, why suddenly demand on Manrega gone up? And there are many states who are complaining that they are not getting money from the central government to pay the wages of all those who have worked under Manrega. So there is a lot of backlog despite the rupees 55,000 crore which they have made available in this budget. Because people who are employed in the unorganized sector, in the informal sector, in various places in this country, have gone back to their villages because they lost their job. And those people have no option but to do manual labor under Manrega. And that's why suddenly Manrega allocation had to go up. I am personally aware, let me tell you this, because I headed that committee at the district level as a Lok Sabha member, which reviews Manrega, among other things. And there were hardly any takers for Manrega. Now suddenly, why so many people wanting to get employment under Manrega? Because they have lost their earlier jobs.
Okay.
So this is point number one. Point number two is that the Labour Bureau used to collect these figures. Those figures were not very flattering to the government. So they said Labour Bureau will not collect these figures. We'll appoint a committee that will go into this, that and the other. I agree that employment data, unfortunately, does not become readily available, quickly available to the government. So by all means, do whatever you want to do to make sure that we get the employment data as fast as possible, but proper data, mind you, not cooked up figures.
Okay.
And when you are talking of statistics, that was the first casualty, the Labour Bureau and the employment data. After that, there have been casualty after casualty, the latest being the growth figures.
Talking about the growth figures, recently the government had come out with the BAT data series that predicted that said that there was an 8.1% growth during the UPA regime. This was recently revised, and according to it, during UPA 1 and UPA 2, there was a 6.7% growth overall in 10 years, as opposed to 8.1% and 7.46% cited earlier. And NDA government's growth rate during the last 4 years has been 7.3%. So essentially they're saying that the UPA growth rate of 6.7 was significantly lower than that of the NDA government's period.
Pathetic. My reaction is that this is a pathetic attempt to dress up figures. And I'm saying it with a degree of regret that this is the first time in our history that figures, data given out by the Department of Statistics are not reliable anymore, or for that matter, any branch of the government. This is one example. We all know that there was an expert committee under Sudipto Mandal who came out with those earlier figures, and then they were quickly withdrawn. And then the Niti Aayog was supposed to go examine those figures. They don't have expertise of the Department of Statistics. So now they have come out with these figures, which shows this government in a better light than the earlier government.
You also link them to NPAs and the NPA growth?
Yes. I mean, in a healthy economy, you can't have NPA growth of the kind that we have seen from 2 lakh crore to 11 lakh crore. If the economy is doing so well, then why would the NPAs grow? They will not. It's as simple as that. So that, but let me give you another example, which has largely gone unnoticed. The Standing Committee on Finance asked the Ministry of Agriculture to give it data on impact of demonetization on the agricultural sector. And they gave some data which did not project the government or demonetization move in a good light. So that was also withdrawn. And just some figures have now been supplied to the Standing Committee on Finance, which says that, oh, the agricultural sector benefited so much from demonetization. What is happening in our country? If data is not dependable, is not credible, then what else is?